Well, hello and welcome back to my kitchen again. We got through Father's Day and had all kinds of good food, and I've been letting y'all look at some of our recipes one a day, and they've been good. But today we've eat up all the dessert that I made. So today I'm going to make a cake, and there was a lady in our church that would always bring this when we would have some kind of a meeting after church fellowship or whatever. Sister Hopper would always bring her fruit cocktail cake. And I had a fruit cocktail cake recipe, but mine wasn't like hers. And when she shared her recipe, oh my goodness, I've made it lots of times. It's really simple and easy to make. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients. Of course, the main ingredient is a can of fruit cocktail. But I'm going to move the camera where y'all can watch what I'm doing. And we're going to make a fruit cocktail cake today. And it has an icing that you bring to a boil, different than the fig cake, but similar. And you poke holes in this cake when it gets done and pour the icing on. Y'all, it is so moist you could almost squeeze the juice out of it. So let me get the camera close where you can watch me, and we'll get this cake in the oven. Okay, it takes 2 eggs, and I have whisked the eggs already, but I whisk them a little bit more. You can use a mixer, but I think I can do this without using the mixer. It takes 2 cups of, let me make sure I'm right, 1.5 cups of sugar. So 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and whip my sugar in. Whisk it in. It takes 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to stir that in. It takes 1 15.25 ounce can of fruit cocktail, and you can either use the light or heavy syrup. This one just happens to be the heavy syrup. And I'm going to put this in because I need this liquid when I start adding my flour. It's going to be too pasty if I don't have my liquid in there. Made a mess here. Okay, I'm going to mix this around, and I'm going to use my Swedish dough hook because you really don't want to mash your fruit. You just want to have it to where you can add your flour in and blend it well. So it takes 2 cups of flour. And I'm just going to blend that in. I'm making messes, huh? That's okay. I know how to clean up messes. The thing with this Swedish dough hook versus a whisk, the dough goes through the holes in the hook instead of just getting hung up in there and squashing everything. I got this, I think I told y'all before, off Amazon. I've had several people said they were going to order one. If you're doing a thick dough especially, or bread or something like that, it's just awesome. Okay, now what's in here is 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 eggs, a can of fruit cocktail, 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of soda, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So let me do that again. 1.5 cups of sugar, 1 can of fruit cocktail, 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now you're going to want a cup of chopped pecans or your choice of nuts, and about 3/4 cup of brown sugar, because we're going to put this on the top of the cake before we bake it. So let me get my measuring cups out of the way. I took my cake pan and I sprayed it with Baker's Joy, which is the cooking spray that has some flour in it. And on a lot of cakes I like to use that. So I've got my pan ready to put my cake batter in. Just a 9 by 13. Get it all out of there. You know me. I want to get the last, because I don't have any kids here that's going to want to lick the bowl. So I can put it all in the cake. And just do it around like we do. This is gonna, I'm looking forward to this one because it's just so yummy. Okay. Let me put that down in there. That like that. Give my hands a rinse. Okay, now I'm just going to take my brown sugar and pecans. See, I'm just sprinkling it around on the top. And that's going to make that yummy goodie on the top. Be sure it's all over. Okay. Can you see? I've got it ready to go into the oven. And it's going to bake at a 350 for about 40 minutes. And then I'm going to, in the meanwhile, we'll make the glaze, the icing, the syrup, whatever you want to call it, that we put on the top. But it'll have to cook for about 40 minutes. And then we will, I'll tell you what we're going to put in the syrup that we pour over the top, and we'll come back and finish it. Okay, it's time to get the glaze going. So I've got 2/3 of a cup of butter in my pot, and you need a cup of evaporated milk and a 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, and you need 1.5 cups of sugar. And I'm just going to put this on the stove and bring it to a boil. Isn't this a pretty bottle of vanilla? My daughter bought me that for a prize at the Nutcracker Market in Houston. They have every year at Christmas. So I've got to get this boiling, and I need to just bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to poke holes in the cake as it comes out, and I will pour it over it. So I'll be back right here with a cooked cake, and we'll pour this over it. I'm just going to put it on the stove and bring it up to a boil. Okay, y'all, I'm back. So the cake is done. And I've just took my fork, and I've already done it, and I just made holes all in it. So what I'm fixing to do is bring my pot over here because I've had my glaze boiling. And I'm just going to pour it over the top of this cake and let it soak in and all around. I can smell that vanilla. Oh my word, that is wonderful vanilla. It smells awesome. And I like the pretty bottle it's in too. You know, when you go somewhere and you want to bring Mama a prize and she cooks all the time, well, anything that goes with cooking is right for the bringing, huh? See how that just soaked right in? There's hardly any of it left. Now I'm going to get a little plate and cut a piece where I can show y'all. And I expect I'm going to get me a bite of it if it's cool enough. Okay, y'all. I've got my cake on the plate. And get me a bite of it. I think it's cool enough. It is just so moist. I mean, there's juice on the plate underneath the cake. It's good. And taste the brown sugar on the top and the pecans kind of toasted. It's got the fruit inside. I think y'all need to try this cake too. Quick and easy. And I like to cook it in a 9x13 that has a lid on it. I bought this from a friend of mine's church. On the side of the cake pan it has my name. And then this lid slides on and snaps, and it'll keep stuff fresh. So when I cook a cake like the one we call the Oh My God cake or a 9x13, I usually will put it in this pan to where I'll have a lid down on it, and I won't have to be messing with saran wrap or tin foil. But y'all put it on whatever you want to. And y'all be sure you come back tomorrow because we're going to have something else really good. And I hope y'all are making supper. And I always mention supper because most people's busy all day long, and then it's the evening meal where you either go get some chicken or whatever you do if you don't cook at home. But I want y'all to cook at home because I'm sharing good stuff with you that makes a home meal just yummy and makes memories. So y'all cut those phones off and sit down and eat at the table if it's bologna sandwiches and potato chips. Sit down together as a family and visit and eat and share. And come back here tomorrow. Don't forget to tell your friends about the channel. And if you're watching and you haven't hit that subscribe button right there, that red word that says subscribe, please do that because it'll help me and help the channel to grow. And I appreciate every one of y'all. Tickles me to death when I go somewhere and somebody that's been watching tells somebody that hadn't been watching about the channel, and then I get feedback that they love it. So you know what, y'all, I'm just me. I'm not putting on any airs. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm just a country girl that loves to cook, and I love people, and I love to share. And since you're not at my house for me to send you home with a little gift of some kind, I'm giving you my recipes one at a time, and you can keep them forever. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.